The very last thing you want to do when you're traveling is become the victim of a crime, so we're going to help you.
Because we fell victim to a scammer to the tune of $428 on a recent trip to South America, and others got it even worse than we did.
I just want my $2,300 back.
She was charged almost $7,000 for a 20-minute taxi ride.
Almost had a heart attack. It was like, wow.
It is a crime unfolding in country after country, taxi cab after taxi cab, and it's costing unsuspecting tourists tens of thousands of dollars. The U.S. and Canadian governments even warning citizens about the danger. And so we're going to reveal the one thing you absolutely should not ever do, period, when traveling in a foreign country.
In this episode of Window Seat. All right, so here we are, just landed. It's about 11:15 in the morning on a Saturday. We are in Santiago, Chile.
And everything was off to a great start as we sat down in what is truly one of the most amazing cities on the planet. Beautiful, snow-capped mountains surrounding a thriving, modern oceanside city. This place has a little of everything, including, it turns out, criminals.
So over here by gates 2 and 3, on the first level, is where the official black and yellow taxis are.
We noticed a barrage of uniformed, sign-carrying official representatives of the black and yellow taxi companies at the airport. They're the ones sanctioned by the airport. They're legit, and they're the ones you want to get a ride with. Because it turns out there are a slew of scammers just waiting to prey on your wallet here. There are even Reddit and TripAdvisor forums dedicated to this entire issue. Heck, this woman got into the wrong vehicle and it cost her $5,600.
I can't see.
Americans, it seems, are just too trusting. They'll get into a car with just about anyone. Heck, we did it just hours earlier in Panama.
It's one of those deals where we're walking out of the airport and we see somebody approach and they're like, we are the official taxi service, and we're like, okay, we believe you. But you got to be careful about that because you never know. Obviously, there are companies that are trying to get your money, and as long as they're legit, you're probably good. These guys look legit. They have these official-looking shirts and everything, so it seems like enough, right?
Fast forward a few hours later, we're hailing what seemed like a legit cab in Santiago. It's a quick 10-minute taxi ride from the funicular to our hotel. And lo and behold, I checked my credit card transactions a short time later, and I've been charged $428.82 US for that short taxi ride by Susana Jimena, whoever that is, and I am steaming mad. Turns out I made some critical mistakes during that short cab ride, and it turns out I'm not the only one.
Well, a woman was traveling in South America and had to take a taxi from an airport in Chile. She paid with her credit card and was shocked to find out she was charged almost $7,000 for a 20-minute taxi ride.
It happened to this Canadian woman, too.
So our first stop was in Santiago, Chile for a few days. And that's unfortunately where we got scammed. When I got home and looked at my bank account, I almost had a heart attack. It was like, wow.
There are fake taxis and shuttles operating in Mexico that are ripping off unsuspecting tourists for thousands of dollars.
And it happened to this guy in Mexico.
I just want my $2,300 back.
This guy was visiting Mexico City back in March. A cab ride that should have cost $15 ended up costing hundreds. Within minutes, he got noticed he'd been scammed.
It may seem like you're only paying a few dollars, but you're actually charged thousands, and once you pay it, it's hard to get it back.
He tried for 4 months for Visa to reverse the charges, but they told him he couldn't get a refund.
They basically said, well, I didn't get a receipt. So without a receipt, they can't dispute the charge.
And that is the same thing the bank told me. I'm out, $428. It's your word against the word of a scammer, and the bank is going to side with that scammer. It's infuriating. So, what exactly did I do wrong during that short cab ride? I used my credit card. Don't use your credit card if you're using a cab in a foreign country, if at all possible. Let that be your one takeaway from this video. There are ways around it. Use local currency, book an Uber or Lyft. They work the same as they do in the US. Easy peasy. There were warning signs during my cab ride. The driver wasn't running the meter. I noticed that, but assumed he was just charging a flat city rate because I'm a total buffoon. More warning signs. He never showed me the total he was plugging into the credit card reader, never gave me a receipt, and also seemed to be in a bit of a hurry to get us out of his cab under the guise of having to get in and out of busy traffic. In hindsight, each and every one of those things should have been a major red flag, but he seemed like a perfectly nice guy, and you want to believe the very best about people. But But tell that to this guy.
$2,300 and a few cents had just been charged by Visa.
And that lady.
And that's unfortunately where we got scammed.
Lesson learned. And the truth is, had I done my homework, I never would have gotten myself into this mess. Right there on the U.S. State Department website, a warning to those visiting Chile. Never allow your credit card to be charged outside of your view, and do not use unauthorized taxi services. Use those regulated with orange or yellow license plates, or use Uber or Lyft. The government of Canada has an even more explicit warning to travelers bound for Chile, warning of taxi scams. It says there are reports of fraud near airports. You should only use taxis in designated areas, avoid using taxis without a meter, and always check the amount on the card reader before paying. If only I'd been smart. So, bottom line, remember this: whether you're in Mexico City or Santiago, Lima, or really anywhere else on the planet, plan ahead. Consult the State Department tourist sites and consider yourself warned. Do not use a credit card in a taxi. Maybe you'll get off lucky like me and it'll only be a $428 lesson from that pesky Susana Jimena, whoever that is. But chances are you'll wind up like those other two who learned the very hard way to pay extra attention when traveling by taxi.
But when we're talking, almost $7,000, it's a lot of money.
And it's a good habit to never let your credit card out of your sight wherever you are. That's when a scammer could try to put through additional charges without your knowledge.
Now listen, none of this is meant to denigrate the fine city of Santiago, Chile. Its people, its traditions, its attractions.
Oh, it's nice, peaceful, very serene. Well, the views of the city are amazing. You got to come do this and just enjoy the peacefulness that is Santiago, Chile, because we all come to Chile to relax. We don't come to stress ourselves out.
We honestly love this place and cannot wait to come back. And we also don't want to denigrate the profession of cab driver. Most are honest, decent, hard-working people. But a rotten few ruin it for everyone, and when it happens to you, it can really leave you in a foul mood, even in such a magical location. All right, that's it for this episode of Window Seat. Hope you learned a little something from this episode. Let us know if this happened to you too. We'd love to hear more about how you dealt with it. Be sure to leave a comment below.
Also, like and share the video if you can, so we can share the word about our South American experience. And if you'd be so kind, we'd love it if you'd subscribe so we can continue to share our travels as we go all around the globe, trying to hit every country on the planet. We've got a long ways to go, but we're making good headway. That's it for this episode of Window Seat. Hope you'll join us right back here next Friday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern, for another episode of Window Seat. In the meantime, check out one of these other episodes.